Morning, folks. Give us just a second here to get 5 by 5 and we will get started. T-Rex, Cogito, good morning. Bill B, good morning. West Virginia Homesteading Mama. Mods, thank you very much. Sorry about the troll that was in here earlier. I was actually brewing my coffee and saw they were harassing you, so I just ghosted them from the channel. Ain't nobody got time for that. Where my sweet brown fans at? Good morning, everybody. How we doing? So it looks like we're 5 by 5. Quickly, Jess. Yesterday I was reading back through the chat and everything, catching stuff I missed, and Jess was in the chat yesterday. I was talking about a squirrel being behind me, and if she's in here, she had put chewed it. We got a tree shaker, and I lost about a third of my cup of coffee. So thank you for that, Jess. American Trucker's Wife has the bragging rights this morning. She was here first. So let's get into it. All right. Well, let me see who's here first. Bam and Jay's in the house. I don't want to skip the chat here. Jess. Yeah, Jess is in here. Yeah. Third of a cup of coffee all over my wife's kitchen table. Independent Marine, how you doing, brother? Robert, how are you? Michelle, God's Country, love that name, and the song. So we'll see. All right, let me see here. We still 5 by 5, folks. Can y'all let me know, please? Looks like we are, okay. Sorry, my computer's here and there. It's not as strong as my phone. So on Twitter yesterday, which is a liberal echo chamber. I mean, let's be honest. I've seen a couple of you over there with me. Let me see. Who have I seen over there? I've seen Luce over there. I've seen Robert over there a couple of times. We'll get right back to that. Jared, thank you very much for that super chat. But let me go ahead and say this, guys. I do appreciate it. I'm not saying I don't, Jared, but I would rather you folks use your money for prepping right now. You don't need to send super chats here. Just put it in all caps and hopefully I'll see it. But thank you very much for that. But this is not one of those super chatty channels unless you're talking about me. So Twitter, full of liberals. I think we all know this much, right? And I get on there last night, and the #1 hashtag in the world, I had to double check and make sure it wasn't just in my area, okay? It was the #1 in the United States, was hashtag empty shelves Joe. Liberals have woken up on social media. They have figured it out. They've figured out, they were exchanging like tweets back and forth. Hey man, why can't I find, Twinkies or Doritos in my store? Hey man, where's all the beer? Hey, why are the shelves so empty? It's like all of a sudden, I don't know what triggered this. To be honest, I thought we had until Thanksgiving, but I missed that mark. They have woken up and we are officially in SHTF. So to the new preppers, welcome. Maybe you've never been here before. It gets interesting. Golden Saucer, welcome to the coffee club. Speaking of coffee, I am going black today. I don't know if y'all can see it, man. I don't want to, there we go. I don't want to spill it all over my pants. Miss Nation, kill me. But we're in the SHTF at this point in time. This is an aftermath of, I believe, 2020 lockdowns. We're still seeing the effects of 2020 lockdowns. And let's face it, the Biden administration, and not just Biden, but the people that he has surrounded himself with, they're idiots. I have nothing against diversity whatsoever, but be qualified for the job. These are diversity hires. I don't even know how to say the guy's last name. Pete Buttigieg or something like that is over the transportation here in the United States. What's his qualifications exactly for this job? He has an alternative lifestyle. That was enough. So they put him in charge, and now we have ships anchored out that are full of stuff that we need, and we can't get them into the docks. The economy is in shambles. It has been for a while. It's just catching up. Nobody really wants butt peg. Somebody said, wow. No, so few people want to work now, and we don't have people at the docks to unload this stuff. Now, you can argue by design. Is it just incompetence? I don't really know. I think maybe by design, but I can't prove it. You know what I mean? But the point is, they're blaming truck drivers. It's not the truck drivers' fault. Most of the truckers that I talk to here at the Nation, they're running almost nonstop. They are telling me that highly populated areas, cities, they're taking bigger loads in. And when they come to places out here like the Sticks, they're only taking like half or third loads in. So something's going on the coast. We're not getting the things that we need. It's been this way for a while. We know this, but now non-preppers know this. Every aisle is pretty much 12 items or less at this point in my area, at least. I don't know how it is in your area. Someone sent me a picture last night of, she said that they had groceries in their local Walmart, but she sent a picture and it was a gallon of milk and it was 12 bucks, $12. I don't know. I don't think it was the store brand or whatever, the off brand. I think it was the regular brand, but still, y'all, I would go back to nursing before I pay $12 for a gallon of milk. I'd be like, hey, baby, come here, let me holler at you for a second. But in all seriousness, $12 a gallon is ridiculous. That is when we start getting into hyperinflation territory. Hyperinflation. Let me ask this. Someone emailed last night. It was a lady. She preps, but she just kind of sort of got into it. Her husband's not really on board. And she's telling him about shortages, but he's not seeing it in his area. And so he's really putting the brakes on buying up extra. And she asked me specifically, can I ask the chat this morning, are you seeing shortages in your area and what state are you in? Please do not give your location out or anything like that, just state. Some of you are having shortages. Worminati says, boobies, yeah. And some of you are just seeing price increases across the board. And it may stay that way. Zombie Farmer's in the house. Brother, I'm sorry I didn't see you in here yesterday. I was running my mouth. I saw you on the replay. And I went over to your channel and I saw that banging truck. And I got to ask, is that the same truck from Red Dawn? The original Red Dawn? Because it looks very similar to the truck they had on there on Red Dawn. Back when trucks were trucks. Zombie Farmer's here on YouTube. Check him out. He is awesome. It is a faith-based, no-nonsense channel, which I can appreciate. Bernard, get your comms radios. They are selling fast. Thank you for that. I have not checked. We have the Cobras here. I haven't checked any other comms in my stores lately, to be honest. I've been focused in on the groceries mainly. And like the medicines and stuff. So you may see shortages. You may already see them. They may be coming. In some places, it's going to look like the motherland at the beginning of the Soviet Union, okay? The collapse. It's going to look like the old motherland, son. In other places, you may never see shortages, but you may see prices doubling, tripling on down the line. And so this is honestly an SHTF for a lot of people because they're not going to be able to afford the things that they're going to need. And I think Rudy at the Alaska Prepper, he just recently did a video and I think he's spot on. He said, you're going to have, it's not like you're going to starve to death, okay? You're going to have some groceries in your store, but can you afford them? And is it really the brand or the type of food that you normally eat or that you want to eat? This is what a lot of liberals are running into right now. A lot of non-preppers are starting to walk into the store. You know, they want some Tostitos chips and some cheese dip and some beer, and they're going in and all three are out. And they're like, what's going on here? You know? So in the end, I would say that as it always is for you newer preppers, I promise you this is coming. Preppers will be blamed. We're blamed every single time. You know, it's a matter of, I can't believe these preppers have bought everything up. I can't believe these hoarders. They'll call you a hoarder. They'll try and shame you. They're like, you need to share with everybody else. And It's not that I don't believe in sharing. Trust me, when I was in kindergarten, I would share crayons and stuff, son. But it's that we have spent a lot of time and a lot of effort, and in some cases, a lot of money to stay on top of this thing and be prepared. And so I'm curious, I'm gonna go to the chat now for a second. I'm curious where our responsibility is. What do you think responsibility wise? Do we help out everybody that comes knocking? Do we help out extended family? Mods, I am so sorry, the slow chat is on. Or do we just say, you know what? You had warning after warning after warning. Because ain't no shame, Mika says. Nope, Daniel says. Yeah, we tried to tell these people. I can remember before the presidential election, so many socialists online were arguing with me saying, you know, socialism is much better. Look, it goes a little something like this. When you have socialism, okay, you have bread lines. When you have capitalism, the bread line's up for you. You know what I'm saying? And I could not drill this into people's head. It was so glorious. Everybody wanted to be like the new Soviet Union. Well, we're here now, and I hope you got what you asked for. So I will not be helping out anybody that did not take a little initiative, okay? Apparently nobody else is either. Nobody else is either. Lou, if we are buffering, I am so sorry. It's not buffering on my end, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Hopefully they're not buffering me over the whole socialism, communism thing. And where we're at right now is we are entering socialism. And that's going to turn into communism, okay? And that's going to lead, I believe, to a civil war. Some will call it a revolutionary war. Others will say it's a civil war. But it's going to lead to extremely bad times for some here in the United States. And you folks should listen. Don't stress it. Don't be worried to the point that you're stressing. Somebody said yesterday over on Patreon, she saw the intel on the shortages and people freaking out on Twitter. And she's like, I'm scared to death. I'm like, ma'am, you don't need to be scared. You've been on top of this. You've been prepping. You're covered. That's why we've been spending so much time and money on this. So we can sit back and drink sweet tea while everybody else is trying to figure out what to do in Joe's America. Before we move on, I'll just say this. During the initial hit of the pandemic, when there was the first panic shop taking place, I can remember going through the lawn and garden section of my local Walmart, and it sounded like the set of The Walking Dead over on the other side of the store. They have the groceries over there, and they got everything else over here. So I went through lawn and garden, and I bought an entire case of filters for the Brita system. So we have a Berkey, and then we have a big Brita filtering system as a backup. Bought the entire case. They were on clearance. That's why I bought an entire case. Bought some the Primo waters because they keep them back there in the hardware section. Trucked myself on back out through lawn and garden and checked out. Never even had to go to the grocery section because I was already set. And that's what prepping will do for you. So if you've been prepping, congratulations on that. According to the poll that we're running this morning, will you vote in the midterm elections? 72% of you say you will, which is cool. I asked this because just north of me in Virginia, they are having one heck of a governor's race right now. It's McAuliffe and, don't tell me, Youngkin. And they are polling to the point now where they are neck and neck. And I'm curious to see if they're going to get a fair election. You know, I would hate to accuse of anybody being shady or anything like that when it comes to elections, but I'm curious to see what happens there. If Youngkin wins Virginia and he's able to turn that state red again, it may actually start to spread, you know, with everything that's going on and as badly as Biden has messed things up. McAuliffe, Biden is coming in to help him campaign, and McAuliffe's like, no, please. He's trying to keep him away because anything that Joe touches right now turns into poo-poo. So this next, this next bit of information, the intel is actually going to hit Patreon. I put the first thing that we were talking about, the Twitter, the scrambling and the panic buying, that intel's down below. The second bit is going to hit Patreon later today. Um, Tilt and rear. Sorry, the name gets me every time. This for Caveman James, emergency bucket. Thanks. His bucket is going to be worth, the stuff inside of Caveman's bucket is probably worth less right now than the bucket itself. There's some cheap stuff in there. But thank you. Coal companies have been talking in back rooms with major power companies like Duke and what's the other one? AEP, Appalachian Power or something, is up in this area a little further north. But they've been talking to other ones as well. The ones that, whatever it's called, there's one in New York, like a huge one. They've been talking to them, and they are basically admitting blackouts are coming this winter. They're going to have to do rolling blackouts, or they're going to be mandatory in certain spots. Now, if I had to guess, I would say they're going to turn the lights out in the sticks for a while and, you know, kind of use the resources for cities and things, because they're going to be a lot more chaotic, you know, if they turn out Brooklyn as opposed to where I'm at. Just a lot more people there. But they are talking about it. They're basically saying at this point, it's inevitable. They've had, and this is not on mainstream media, but again, I'm going to link it over on Patreon later. But welcome, Tyrone. But the fact that they're having this conversation and the fact that they're admitting, you know, they're saying natural gas and coal are the two main issues. They don't have enough to keep up throughout the winter. They said they're running at almost, I think, almost 80% capacity right now, based on the supply that they have. And they know as it gets colder and we start to get some snowstorms and stuff, it's going to be beyond 100, and they're going to have to start blacking people out. I don't know what areas they're going to black out. Again, if I had to guess, they're going to black out the lower populated areas, but it could get to the point where they have to black out, you know, populated areas because there's so much in use. They are also saying that there's going to be higher gas prices throughout the winter, and there's going to be a huge spike in heating bills. Thank you, I Spy. So blackouts will probably be regional. Some of you may never face a blackout this winter. Others of us are going to definitely face them. And I wanted to cover, they will black out red states. That's highly likely. Susan, I did not think about it in that way, but they may actually do that. Domestic Gangsta in the house. How you doing, ma'am? So I wanted to cover a couple of questions that I got yesterday and the day before, and then we'll get straight into chat, I promise. Number one, somebody asked a couple of days ago, how much debt should they take on when they're prepping? And it was a really good question. I meant to get to it yesterday, but I was rambling. Sorry. How much debt should you take on? The answer is none. If at all possible, you should be trying to get out of debt. Debt is one of the things you want to get out from under, because it's really going to pin you down and not allow you to prep the way you need to prep, okay? There's only two situations where I would consider, me personally, that I would consider taking on debt when prepping. Okay, number one, if I'm going to buy a really good piece of land and start homesteading, and I got a really good price on this land and I know that I'm going to be able to pay the debt off pretty fast, then I would consider that, okay? But you would have to make that total turn into homesteading, and it would have to be a thought out process, not just something you jumped on. Number two, if you're going to upgrade your home, for example, with a full solar setup, to where in 5 years time it's actually making money for you because you're saving against you know, your electricity bill. So that to me would be an investment. It would also be something that I'm going to have to think long and hard about, but those are really the only two situations where I'm taking on debt. Otherwise I'm trying to pay off what I have, okay? But it was a really good question. Second, how do you pick a bug out location? Well, right now I have a plane overhead, so let's talk about it. I'm looking for a place where if that plane is overhead, it cannot see me. And I realize that they have thermal imaging and all this stuff, but I'm talking about in a normal situation. Am I hidden from that plane? Am I hidden from people around me? Okay, I'm looking for an area that's got some distance between me and a populated area, 40 or 50 miles away from, you know, a highly populated area, and I'm looking for a place that has water nearby. I'm not going to pitch a tent right next to a river or, a major body of water, because I know during an SHTF people are going to migrate to the water. But I want to be close enough that I can go collect water and do so kind of privately, you know what I mean? So those are the three main things that I'm looking for. And now let's jump into the chat. Okay, there's other stuff going on. Clinton's in the hospital, all kinds of stuff going on, right? But at some point we got to talk to the chat here. What do you consider highly populated? I mean, it just depends on your area, So in my particular area, Charlotte, the city Charlotte, North Carolina, I consider it highly populated. But somebody that's in Los Angeles might laugh at that and say, man, that's a joke city. That's nothing, So get away from cities, get away from very large towns and even small cities in some cases, okay? And Concord and Winston-Salem, they're not even close to Charlotte's scale, but I'm still avoiding those in my area. Best comm radio. Well, Susan, I mean, you can go with, I hear a lot of good things. How do y'all say it again? Baofeng. Somebody corrected me last week. They're a great company. Midland's a great company. We have Cobra here, but we're not trying to communicate over 50 miles. We're going to be less than a mile away at all times if we're bugged out. So that's why we went the Cobra route, and then we bought the better Cobras, because they start out pretty cheap and you can upgrade and get decent ones. Baofeng, thank you, White Collar. I knew it was something like that. I promise I'm not illiterate. It's just the way that we talk up in this area. I'm well read, but we just put our own slang on stuff. The Minton Maiden. How's Mrs. Nation's garden doing now? Well, Minton Maiden, I'm glad to see you in here, first of all. You have an awesome channel. I love it. Second, she is now into the canning phase. She's discovered canning. So next spring-ish, beginning of summer, we plan on doubling or tripling the size of our garden. And she is going to be, right now she's buying stuff at farmers markets and she's canning them. Because she says the produce is a lot better. But we're going to try and do our own and can it next year. And by us doing it, I basically mean me, ma'am. But thank you very much. Let's see here. Cast iron. John, did you see the story about the factories under air camo that were disguised as a town during World War II? There was all kinds of stuff going on during World War II. They had a fake regiment of soldiers. They had inflatable tanks. Something the U.S. would do quite often is they would dress a ammunition factory up or something nearby, or a place they were holding ammunition and weaponry and things, like ice cream factories and stuff. Anything they thought the Germans wouldn't bomb or the Japanese, they would dress it up. Let's talk prepping. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. Yeah, they had Mr. Patriot. They had a fake air base. They really did, and they actually had a unit. I forget what the unit's called. I should know this, but it was comprised of people from like Hollywood and the music industry, and they recorded a bunch of sounds like trains and a bunch of tanks moving, and even sergeants yelling at people. And what they would do is they would put this on the radio, or they would blast it through loudspeakers nearby. Like if the Germans were protecting a bridge, for example, they would blast this stuff out, and the Germans would faintly hear it, and they'd be like, oh my God, they're moving all kinds of tanks around. And in some cases they would actually fall back and there was nobody there. Like they were moving the Germans around just out of fear doing that. Gidget, I've been dehydrating eggs, no freeze dryer. Would love to know how you're doing that. Isaiah, Marauders will be coming at some point. At some point, the way we will all be Johnny Reb soon. So for the newer preppers, the way this works normally is they're going to, the non-preppers right now, they're panic shopping at your bigger stores, like your bigger Krogers, your national chains, your Walmarts, Target. Nobody buys groceries at Target. I mean, come on, let's be honest, son. Costco, they're slamming Amazon. So while they're doing this, as a prepper, you need to go ahead and go to Plan B. Plan B is going to be your dollar stores, your Dollar Generals, your Family Dollars, things of this nature, maybe smaller family-owned grocery stores and stuff, because they're going to be hitting those in about a week, and you want to have come and gone and get what you need. Okay, and then next week, you should be hitting places like international markets, Random Train, and Amish stores. So the train, y'all hear the train from time to time here. It's really weird. We're several miles away, but where the mountains do this, sometimes it sounds like the train is way off in the distance. And I ain't kidding. Sometimes, I don't know if it's weather related or what, it sounds like the train's right out in front of your house. Like it's getting ready to knock your house down. It's so loud. So I don't know how that works. Target sucks. Worminati. I agree. There have been a couple of times I've went to Target and I'll have, the Gas and Flag shirt or something on and I don't realize it. And people are staring at me. And it'll take me 5 or 10 minutes to realize, oh, they're staring at the shirt. They don't like the shirt. It's just a different breed up in Target. You know what I mean? A different feel. Target is way expensive. We don't go there very often and we don't buy groceries when we go. Normally, to be honest, normally my kids will see something that maybe they want for Christmas, back when they actually had stuff on sale for Christmas. They might see something small, and that's literally the only place we can get it. So we'll have to go in. We probably go in 2 times a year, if that. Debbie says Target has canning jars. I didn't even know that because we didn't go there to check for them. Die Hard Prepper, John, did you see Kellogg's cereal is on strike? I did not. I saw where John Deere went on strike yesterday, and it's supposedly close to 10,000 people on strike there at John Deere. I don't think that it's mandate related. I think it has something to do with like a labor dispute, but I'm thinking, here's 10,000 more people that were paying taxes, and now they're, you know what I mean? The workforce just keeps dropping down. Striketober, Chad. I didn't know that was a thing, man, honestly. Target is trash, Mr. Patriot. Why did it flag you for saying Target is trash? Have weirdos following your little girl or wife into the bathroom? I will say this. If we're at Target and my wife or my little girl goes into a bathroom, and you have somebody, what is it called now, gender fluid or whatever, like they just wake up and they're that gender that day, teach their own, whatever. But it's something I don't personally understand, but whatever. And they decide they're going in after my little girl, I'm going in after them. All of a sudden I'm gender fluid, son. And it's just what it is. I don't get that. We went through, this is a little personal, I guess, but we went through drive-through the other day at Arby's. Miss Nation loves Arby's. And the lobby's not open, so we went through the drive-through, and this guy takes the money. I give him the money, and I'm like, thanks, man. And I notice he's wearing fingernail polish. And he looks at me at this point like he wants to kill me because I said, thanks, man, even though he has a man's voice. And he has an Adam's apple as big as a basketball. He's obviously a man. He's a guy. And he looks at me like he wants to kill me. And, my kids were in the back, and I didn't really know how to explain this to my kids. I'm like, it's everybody's right to do what they want. If this guy wants to dress like it's Halloween, that's his business. But I also have the right not to pretend with him like it's Halloween. You know what I mean? And I wasn't trying to be rude about it. I just wasn't thinking. They need to stop letting me talk to people when we go out in public. apparently. I've probably already got flagged 10 times on this video. Back to the woods, brother. You can't get that flag anymore. Everyone is out of stock. Which flag are we talking about? The Gaston flag? Or are we talking about something else? Michelle says, amen. You know, to each their own. Everybody should have equal rights in this country. So if, you know, you got the right to do whatever you want to do with your life. Okay, it's really none of my business. But I have the right not to come on this journey with you and play make-believe. You know what I mean? Exactly. The Kraken says, I won't feed into the delusion. To me, it's sexual immorality. But again, I don't press this on people because they may not feel that way. Okay? Patrick M., thank you. 30% of y'all won't vote in midterms. Don't complain when the radical left keeps winning elections. Fraud or not, we lose if 30% of us don't vote. I understand that. I understand that point of view. I'm not saying you're wrong, but when people continually vote and you see rallies with thousands of people compared to a rally with 5 people sitting in a chair, and you start to believe that it's rigged. People thought it was rigged before Trump said it, okay? You really kind of lose your stomach for going and standing in line for 30 minutes or an hour. You kind of lose your stomach for getting hassled by the people at the polls. Are you an American citizen? I need to see ID. I need to see Social Security cards, when other places aren't even IDing people. You know, there needs to be some major reform when it comes to voting. But at the same time, he is right, guys. If we don't vote, if we don't at least try, we don't have the right to complain. So I don't know. I'm in the middle on that one. That's why I ran the poll, to be honest. Kayla says you lose 100% of the opportunities you don't take. Or 100% of the, you lose 100% of the opportunities if Dominion's involved, right? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Wow. It's the black coffee. Outlaw Farm says it's been rigged way before Trump. I don't disagree with that. Somewhere along the line, things got way too shady. Sailing Prepper, how you doing, brother? I just saw that you're in the chat, man. Hopefully you're doing good. Brian says, I live in Connecticut. My vote is canceled out by all the socialists. So it's that way everywhere, to be honest with you, buddy. Where I'm at, Mount Airy is probably, Surrey County is probably, I think the last census was like 92% conservative. Like, it is a huge conservative stronghold. But we don't have the numbers as Winston-Salem or Concord or Charlotte. And so we're just blanked off like we don't even exist, you know, when it comes to statewide elections and national elections. You would come through this area of North Carolina and you would say, there's no way this place is blue. And then you would drive a couple of hours down the road and it's like a totally different place. And I would say it's like that in many states. And we have stupid Cooper. Yep, absolutely. Cast iron cooking. Charlotte is stupid blue. It's insane. You would think after a while, people that voted liberal would figure it out. You know, in my 20s, I was young and stupid. I didn't know any better. You know, and I voted liberal. Hey, Bill Clinton, yeah, let's vote for this. You know, he's the man. And as I got older and I had kids, I started to realize, wait a minute, they don't actually do anything but tax people and lie to people, you know? And that was the breaking point for me. Paul, thank you very much. Time to fly your black flag high. Absolutely, or a pirate flag or something, right? Anything but the motherland flag. Kimberly Lewis, it's 8:50 in California. Please tell me you're not talking about gasoline. Same, yeah, same in Lincoln and Cleveland. They watch local news that keeps them uninformed, white collar. A lot of liberals, I said this one time, oh my God, I caught so much heat for this. The actor, oh my God, I don't know his name. He used to play in Dawson's Creek as Pacey or something. He jumped onto me on Twitter. He was like, this is not true. You don't need to be spreading this stuff around, whatever. But my theory is this, and it's still this. I don't care who jumps on this. When you're young, you vote liberal because you're thinking of numero uno. You're thinking about individual rights. That's really all you care about. Hey, man, kind of, I hate to throw hippies under the bus because my daughter's kind of sort of a hippie. But they're like, hey, man, you know, it's all peace and love and unity. And then as you get older and you mature a little bit and you start to have kids and you're raising a family, you quit worrying about numero uno and you start worrying about your family. You know, what kind of world are my kids going to grow up in? You know, what kind of life am I making for myself and my family? Hey, I'm tired of getting taxed to death here. We can't afford to do anything. And so my theory is many liberals grow up to be conservatives, you know, because some of them are never Trumpers and they're always going to be never Trumpers, and they're going to be 80 years old with purple hair and Target and they're going to be screaming at Trump. But most of them make that turn eventually and they become conservatives because they start caring about something other than themselves. And to your point, right now, liberals are on social media and they get a lot of their news from social media. And they're thinking about the party on Friday night and what can I do? It's all about me. But eventually, I think most of them will be conservatives if we have a country left. Those trees are beautiful. Thank you, they are. Give it another month and most of the leaves will be gone. You can see the mountains behind them. Oh, we hippies who grow up are called crunchy conservatives, the minted maiden. I did not know that, and that was not a shot against hippies, okay? Just so you know, ma'am. My daughter, she is into 70s music on LP. She collects LPs. She doesn't deal with digital music. She collects VHS tapes. She's just a hippie. You know, she's got a skateboard. It's got mushrooms all over it. God love her, man. She just loves everybody. The boycott, let's see, Patrick, thank you, brother. The boycott voting movement is radical left psyops pushed by big tech media to suppress red voters. Sadly, it's working. Don't fall for it. God bless. You may be right on that. I am not sure. I do not put anything past these people. People that are in a position of power that are making that much money, I don't put anything past them. If you have concrete intel on that, inbox me. My email's down below. I'd love to see it, actually. RCX, amen. When you have children, your perspective changes and you become more conservative. You begin to care about things that you didn't care about. Like for me in my 20s, there were certain things I didn't care about. You know what I mean? And you learn and you start to... I'll give you a perfect example. It's kind of cheesy. When I was in my 20s, early 20s, I didn't take care of my vehicles. You know, I'd get a car, I would ride it around for 9 months, no oil change, didn't care about the tires. The tire went out, and I'm just like changing the tire on the side of the road, thinking, why'd this happen? And then when I hit my 30s, I'm like, oh, you have to actually maintain a vehicle for it to run right. You know, you just mature. I was young and dumb, you know. You just get smart as you get older. And the people that are older in this chat, y'all know what I'm talking about. There are things that you know that I won't learn for a while. You folks are wise. And you see, it's got to suck for the people, you know, that were born maybe, because I was born in the 70s. They were born in the 40s or the 50s, maybe, to look at our country right now and see it in the shape it's in. It's in freaking shambles compared to what it was. 80 likes, Mr. Patriot, are you lagging or what's going on here? We got 80 likes. That's ridiculous. Yeah, Worminati, I didn't take care of my car when I was younger because I was worried about other things, you know. I wasn't worried about that kind of stuff. And then as you get older, you know, now it's me trying to tell my kids, you know, this is how you change a tire. You need to change the oil, you know, every 2,000-3,000 miles and all this stuff. And they're like, Dad, I know. The circle of life, I guess. Just got here. What did I miss, David? Nothing. I've been sitting here rambling the entire time. How you doing, brother? Running over a little bit late because why not? I know some of you can't stay in. That's totally okay. Leah, how you doing, ma'am? Tomorrow, I want to thank all of the mods for keeping the live in check. They always do. I was started the broadcast this morning. I was brewing my coffee, man, and I saw somebody in here harassing the mods, wolf something, I don't even remember. And they kept timing them out, and he kept coming back, and I ghosted him from the channel. I'm like, man, look, we're prepped for wolves here at Prepper Nation. I guarantee you, everybody in the chat, wolves come knocking on their door, they're gonna ghost them as well, but not in a virtual sense, right? From Northern California, the good part of California, Brian. Good morning. Bye-bye, Wolfie. Wolverines eat beavers. Here we go, Charlie. Somebody had to do it. Putting our two putting our two favorite animals in the same message there. Wolverines and beavers. How you doing, Paul? I'm talkative today. The black coffee. It is, man. I have no cream in here. Riding dirty this morning, Paul. Oh my God. The prepping preacher sheepdog here. Them feisty beavers, American Oma. Somebody said yesterday dried muskrat, and I almost lost it in the live chat. Cogito, I pitched a tent by the beaver den. I don't know if this actually happened or if this is code for something, man. I'm one of those people where I don't get a lot of the inside jokes. I'll go back through in the chat later and it'll make sense to me, you know what I mean? But people are telling underhanded jokes in the chat and I don't even get it half the time. I'm too naive, guys. I am. I really am. Gotta be moist beaver. Okay, I know what's going on now here, son. Robert. I think I know what's going on now. Do you folks have anything else before I turn this machine off? Cowboy coffee, gray man, absolutely. Usually I use cream, but hey. Jennifer, saw that Terry McAuliffe is ahead right now in Virginia. Please get out and vote. I think from what I saw on the news last night, they're panicking. Democrats are panicking up in Virginia. Youngkin is 2 points behind McAuliffe, but the margin of error was 3 or 4%. So it's very possible that he's up by a point and they just don't know it. McAuliffe had, okay, Cogito, thank you, said he's sending an email. McAuliffe had came out and said that parents should have no say-so or something when it comes to their kids in school. And apparently a bunch of gated community Democrats up in Northern Virginia did not like that so well. And they're like, we're not voting for you, son. Romans, I saw a red-headed beaver once. Should have took a picture of that. I'm just messing with you. Ate some potted meat yesterday, Big Johnny. Well, hopefully you cooked it at least. I can eat potted meat, man. I got to fry it or something, you know. I can do that with some eggs. Michelle says, oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh man. Wow. Teresa says, wow. Yeah, Independent Marine says BS polls. I don't have much faith in polls. But I do know when Obama is coming in to stump for McAuliffe and now Biden is trying to fly in, I know they're panicking. I don't know what the polls, you know, how accurate they really are, but they don't fly in the big guns unless McAuliffe's in serious trouble. John, explain potted meat to everyone. Okay, so potted meat, at least in my area, it comes in a really small can. It is it's basically all the leftover stuff that even Spam wouldn't take. You know what I mean? And if you've ever had Spam, maybe you can relate to that. But potted meat is the next level down, and it comes in a can, and you just dump it out, and it's just ground up. And there's no way that I'm eating that out of a can without cooking it. They also make, I think the same company makes the Vienna Sausages or whatever, which is, if you've ever had the Vienna Sausages, I think they're just potted meat that are shaped like little bitty hot dogs. I can eat those before I can eat the potted. There's something, the texture of the potted meat. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, if you stack some potted meat, it's excellent to mix in with dog food and stuff if you're prepping for pets. I don't know about cats. We don't have cats, but my dogs tear it up. Too much salt. Hot dog scraps. Yeah, Matt, if they're scraps from hot dogs, it can't be too good for you. Somebody said just now to watch the salt. Anything that is meat related, that is canned or soups, etc. That's one thing you really need to watch when you're prepping is the sodium, okay? Kind of mix it up, you know, maybe put some rice in there and stuff. Stuff that doesn't have a lot of sodium, just spread it out. You don't want to eat, for a very long time, you don't want to eat 3 meals a day all out of a can like that. Chloe, do not be ashamed of prepping, stack it to the rafters. Nobody in here is ashamed, I don't think. I have no shame, you know, not when it comes to the prepping. Scrapple, I will pass on scrapple, great man. I've seen scrapple and I ain't eating it. My grandfather used to eat it all the time and I will pass on that. Once was enough, just seeing it one time and I'm like, no, I'm good, son. I ain't eating that. And he was big on, some of you may be too, he was big on chicken livers. No, I can't do chicken livers. And it's like a staple in this area and I just can't, yeah. I just can't do it. Jerry Robbins says scrapple is awesome. To each their own, you know. If you can eat stuff like that, I was telling OC Nation a while back, if you can get down that low and you can eat stuff like that and enjoy it, you're gonna make it a long time in SHTF. You know, there's some people that won't eat meat, or they won't eat but this and that, and they're gonna struggle. Liver is gamey. Somebody just said fried chicken livers and hot sauce is great. Chicken and hot sauce is great. I don't know about chicken livers and hot sauce. I have a problem with tongue and brains tomorrow. I would have to be pretty desperate, pretty bad off. I would dive in on the tongue way before I went to the brain on that. I've never had either, so they could be great. I don't know, but I've never really had to go there. Fat Man Prepper. Never could eat organ meat. His name is Fat Man Prepper, and he's saying I couldn't even eat it. That right there in itself should tell y'all something. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Pig tongue is good. That is a post that I never in a million years thought I would see here. Second Amendment says, let's see if we can hit 1,000 thumbs up. They are daring you. Can we hit 1,000 thumbs up? I don't think we've ever hit 1,000 thumbs up, to be honest. So the challenge is on. Squirrel brains. I know people that eat squirrel brains. I can eat squirrel, not really squirrel brains. Not really much on the brains and the tongues and all that, like the organ stuff. Caveman James. Let me tell y'all this story real quick before we go about Caveman James, and we'll see if we can hit 1,000 thumbs up. That would be awesome. Y'all would be a record-breaking lobby if we do that. Caveman James is big on eating squirrel. He will eat anything to do with a squirrel. I swear this man has no shame when it comes to squirrel. Squirrel gravy, squirrel meat, squirrel brains, he doesn't care. And I'm like, you know, he prefers it over anything that you can buy in the store. And I called him out one day. We were camping and we were with my family and, you know, Outlaw Prepper and his sister, who's my mother-in-law. I called him out. I said, son, you nasty. And my mother-in-law jumped on me. She was like, I eat it too. She eats all this nasty stuff from the squirrel. Getting squirrely. And I said, well, Myself, my wife was like, no, I'm not eating that. And then Outlaw Prepper will not eat it. He said no. He was, matter of fact, he was saying some words that I can't really repeat here. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump up off here, folks, if that's okay. I'm with your wife. Yeah, there's just no reason for it. If you're starving, maybe, okay. But if you have other options, why am I eating squirrel brains? You know what I'm saying? Why am I going to do that when I can get a rotisserie chicken? It just makes no sense to me. But I guess you could condition yourself to eat the nasty stuff. I don't know. Squirrel is like rabbit, men and maiden. Totally agree with that. They're clean animals, but I'm not eating rabbit brain either, or having rabbit gravy. You know, I'll eat the meat from an animal. That's totally okay. Paul Jones, thank you for being here. We're close, guys. Come on. 40 likes, somebody just said. Bull testes. Golden saucer. That's worth 40 likes in itself. Bull testes. He didn't say bull balls. He said bull testes. And I appreciate that. That's a well-read individual right there. Oh, man. I can't even pronounce that word, cast iron cooking. Braunschweiger or something. I don't know. I don't even know what that is, sir. Deer penis. I'm going to go ahead and close it out with that. We have officially hit deer penis. I'm out. I love y'all. A quick reminder, tomorrow, sometime during the day, I'm going to post a video on a rain catchment system. It'll be a short video. Veteran preppers, you don't even need to watch it. You've seen dozens before, right? Newer preppers, that video is for you. Tomorrow night, we're going live 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not live. I think it's going to be pre-recorded. We're going to be talking about the new Civil War on Shotgun Saturday. So until then, yeah, deer penis, I'm out.